Do you want to be a millionaire? Or do you have a plan B? Now, on Saturday afternoon, we attended a seminar that we have been invited to a company that we've in fact been following for 20 years. And the whole event was, do you have a plan B? And it boiled down to two questions. Are you well or are you well off? In fact, we prefer to have both. So our first speaker was Annette. Now, Annette had been, as she said, an industrial nurse. Not quite sure what that means, but certainly a nurse. And at some stage she got ovarian cancer. And then she showed us her before photos when she was in intensive care with a 2% chance of success under chemotherapy. So she thought 2% wasn't good enough. So she went and looked at alternative strategies. Then her other photo was how she looked after 5 years of wellness. A completely different lady. The picture says 1,000 words. This was an absolutely excellent one. And 3 years later after that, she's now up there running an event, telling a story, and boy, it's a very good one. Our second speaker, Annette, make that Anne, she had been in corporate, whatever corporate means, for 15 years and seeing all of her colleagues at various ages burning out, stressed, not many at the age of 60. And then after 15 years, she got made redundant. And for a couple of years, she struggled and did something at home, doing bridal equipment and stuff and whatever, accessories that goes with bridal. Anyway, again, and I haven't seen her for 10 years, in fact, longer than that. She is now what we call a gold director. That means she's at least worth $1 million because she's bringing in permanently, forever, 50,000 plus. Now, that's not bad. If you're away on holiday for a year and it's coming in, that's not bad. But of course, you can do better. And our third speaker, Raymond, has certainly done better. He's earning multiple amounts of that. And he told us a story. How his mother, after divorce, in a state housing home house all the way down in Sydney, bringing up 2 boys, single, working so hard, getting absolutely burnt out. And when she was burnt out, went along to the doctors, and he used the word, was scammed out of everything, and I didn't have the answers. Scammed. Bit tough, but I can't disagree. Anyway, at some stage, this lady was introduced or had an appointment with a lady doctor who said, you need these. Boompa. 2 little containers. And so she paid $100. Wow. So her son, or apparently, and because she was well so badly off, she negotiated that down a little bit. 85. $20 a week. Anyway, the son was still negative and in grade 12, being a grade 12 boy, until he's heard his mother cleaning the dishes at midnight after working so hard. And she was getting well. Now at 18, Raymond actually finished high school, grade 12, went looking for a job. No, he didn't. He didn't want a job. He wanted to be self-employed. But at 18, you've got to have qualifications, you've got to have experience, and if you go to the bank, well, they're not going to lend an 18-year-old fellow anything. So he went and researched his company, and he said 2.5 months. That's a fairly long time to study anything. Rocking on 14 years later, earning a multiple of 50 grand a year. Big multiple. Great story. And he pointed out some basic facts that I have been talking on my financial services hat for 20 odd years. Super is not good enough. It's impossible. It's really another tax. And for 20 years, I've been pointing out on my cash flow program, which is not super, which turns your mortgage into a tax deduction. The facts are that when you go and borrow 400,000 for a mortgage, you pay back a multiple of what you borrowed. So if you borrow 400,000, you end up paying back to the bank 1.2. That's of course if you don't go and refinance the house for overseas trips, school fees, or a new car. And while you're earning and busy working in corporate or wherever, self-employed, you're paying tax. And think of a number, suppose you're paying 20 grand a year in tax. It's obvious it will be a lot more because of all the other taxes, but let's say it's 20 grand a year for 30 years. That's 600 grand. So to the bank you pay 1.2, to the tax man you pay 1.8. That's more than you're allowed in your super cap of 1.6 million these days. It goes to the bank or the tax man. But wouldn't you like to have that amount in your super or somewhere else? So Raymond did point out that to earn that equivalent takes the average person and our second speaker 3 years, 4 months and 18 days. That's the average person. He did point out that it's not easy, but hey, working for 40 years isn't easy either. After 3 years, 4 months and 18 days, you could have the opportunity to play for the rest of the time. Now that's a pretty good option. So what have I been doing today? Making the garden look well. Playing at it, I might add. Playing at painting the house so that the house looks well. I feel well. I am well. And a lady that I took to a seminar many years ago who is or has a first class honours degree in biology says, how well does everybody look? And then another lady who I met yesterday, Raywin, who is a microbiologist on the Australian College of Wellness, is very grateful. She said, thanks, John, for introducing me to this company. That makes me feel good. And then two people who were going to come yesterday, one had an open house and couldn't make it. The other one got her timetabling wrong, have already emailed me today, sorry, we couldn't make it. We invited others. They didn't make the effort. 1 hour was all they required to perhaps change their lives. So when the next opportunity comes to go to an event and you've been invited by somebody, take the 1 hour. It's got to be better than where you currently are most of the time, because everybody needs a plan B. I call it plan R. It doesn't matter what it's called for. We all want to be either well or well enough off to travel. And that's all helped if you've got another R, residual income. So give us a call, send me a PM rather, send us a PM, because that never sleeps, for either of these two books. Fables, fads or facts on the well side, or on the cash flow quadrant, a little book there. If you haven't read the cash flow quadrant and Rich Dad, Poor Dad, do yourself a favour. Ask me for those two books or summaries of, PM me, and you might well be either well or well off. Thank you.